Have you ever thought what is back EMF, how it get induced, how a DC motor accelerates? Well, if you want to get the answer, you have clicked the right video. Now first we will see about the most important topic in DC motor, that is counter EMF or back EMF. If you are not clear in this topic, then my friends, you are also not going to get clear in DC motor. So please pay attention while watching this video. We have Faraday's law that if a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it will experience a force, right? So we'll make setup for that. This is our setup. We have magnetic field created by these two permanent magnets, and we are also having a current carrying conductor, that is armature in this case, okay, placed in magnetic field. Now what happens when we connect a supply across this armature? It will start rotating. Remember the Faraday's law, right? It will start rotating. Now during this rotation, when another phenomena is happening in this armature, what is that phenomena? To understand that phenomena, again we are having next law, and which is by the same author, Mr. Faraday. Okay, what is that? Now we know that when a coil cuts magnetic field or coil cuts flux, an EMF will get induced in that coil, right? Now here we are having a coil, here this is coil, we are having magnetic field also. Now what happens when it start rotating, it cutting the flux? Now what will happen? Yes, you guessed it right, and EMF will get induced in the conductor of this armature, okay, and this extra EMF is called as counter EMF or back EMF. Why this EMF is called as counter EMF or back EMF? If you want to get the answer, stick to the video. Before getting to that answer, we will first see by which equation this counter EMF is given, and this is given by E0. It is symbolized by E0 equal to phi Zn divided by 60, where phi is your flux, Z is your number of conductor in this armature, and N is number of turns. Okay, now as we have seen, there are two EMF induced in the DC motor right here. Of course, first is ES, that is supply voltage, and second is E0. Now if there are two quantities, there should be a net quantity, and to get the net voltage, we have net voltage equals to ES minus E0. This is the net voltage available in the DC motor. Okay, remember this is the net voltage available in the DC motor. Now why this EMF is called as counter EMF? The reason is, when the EMF induced in this armature, it is always in the opposite direction to the supply voltage, or the polarity always acts against the source voltage. Or in simple language, if the supply voltage is positive or the supply EMF is positive, the EMF induced in the armature will be negative, and that is why it is called as counter EMF or back EMF. Now how does this DC motor accelerate? Okay, we have seen the net voltage acting in a DC motor is supply voltage minus back EMF or the EMF induced in the armature, okay, and the current is given by ES minus E0 divided by RA. RA is the resistance of armature, which is practically very small, which is practically less than 1 ohm in any kind of DC motor. This is standard. Now at initial condition, E0 is 0, right? Because at initial condition the armature is not rotating, and if there is no rotation, there will be no EMF induced in it, and that is why it is 0 in the initial condition. So the current formula becomes only ES divided by RA, and this causes, my friends, a very huge current to flow at starting. The starting current of a DC motor or any kind of motor is 20 to 30 times the normal current. We'll see this practically or in the next example. Now let's say we are having a motor with supply voltage of 150 volts and with the armature resistance of 1 ohm. Now what will happen if we apply this voltage at the starting? Let's see here. At starting, as we have said, the back EMF is 0, right? So the current flowing through the motor circuit will be 150 volts divided by 1 ohm, right? And that will give us 150 ampere. You can imagine the quantity of current at the starting. You see, the starting current is 150 ampere in this case, and to limit this 150 ampere we need a starter. See, the things start getting easy if you understand the basic concepts. Now what happens, as soon as this armature rotates, the back EMF develops. Now for instance, let's say the motor is running at 1000 rpm and it managed to develop 100 volt. So 150 minus 100 will give us 50, and 50 divided by 1 will give us a 50 ampere of current. Now you can see the current is reduced by 3 times. Okay, now when this armature will start rotating at its rated speed, here it's 1460 rpm, and the E0 will get developed to its maximum value, that is 146 volts in this example. Now 150 minus 146 will give us 4, and 4 divided by 1 will give us 4 ampere. Now this is the normal current of the motor. Now here a question can arise is, here the current is decreasing gradually, but is it going to affect your speed of armature? Well, the answer is no. It will not affect the speed of armature. Your armature will keep rotating till it reach to the maximum speed, and this starting current or this armature current causes the acceleration of your DC motor. Here you should always remember, in practical case E0 is always less than ES, and there is practical reason for this. If E0 is equal to ES, then ES minus E0 will lead to 0, and anything divide to 0 will also lead to 0, and that will cause a 0 current in the motor circuit. And 0 current means there will be no rotation of motor. So from this you can imagine the importance of back EMF in case of DC motor. Back EMF causes the rotation of the motor. Now the last part of the video, that is summary. Counter EMF is the EMF induced in armature of the motor because of the rotation in magnetic field. Yes, it is in opposite direction and less than the supply voltage. You always have to remember this is very important. Net voltage in the motor is given by ES minus E0, and the starting current of any motor is 20 to 30 times the normal current, and that is because of the back EMF. Yes, so here you can see how things get easy when basic gets clear. More concept with the easiest explanation possible is coming soon on this channel, so please do subscribe my channel and share the video if you like it. Thanks for watching. Keep watching, keep learning.